What's up, graphic designers? In today's class, we're going to be reimagining this international movie poster for a film I'm going to presume is pronounced HAIN. And to do that, we're going to create something that looks a little bit like this. We're highlighting the upcoming Carnival celebration here at Lab. And so when we're analyzing this visual, I can't help but notice that there's 4 polygons, right? So we're going to talk about how exactly to create this. And I can't help but recall that we did a little something like this way back in the fall when we were doing some political campaign marketing. We're going to use the rectangular marquee on a new layer, and then we're going to skew it. And so without further ado, let's jump right in. So I'm going to click File, New, and we're going to go to Print, Letter, and the orientation is vertical, and this looks great. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to click Window, Workspace, Window, Arrange, and then Tile All Vertically. And when we tile all vertically, I can't help but notice that we've got 3 images side by side, and I'm going to drag one into the other. And so now I notice that we've got our original inspiration, and then we've got my version along with the blank on the right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to create a new layer, and we're going to experiment with creating these parallelograms. The first thing that we're going to do is use the rectangular marquee, and we're going to make sure that we're on a new layer. So I'm going to press Command-Shift-N, and I'm going to use the rectangular marquee, and it's going to look a little something like this. And then we can fill it with any color we want, but I'm going to fill it with black. Press check to confirm, Command D, and then I'm going to press Command J, Command J, Command J. We've got 4 duplicates, right? 4 copies. Then I'm just going to click and drag, and so it's got a little something that looks like this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to hold Shift, click on the top layer in the layers palette, and so now I can shift them all around simultaneously. I remember when we did the Club Fair collage, we learned how to manipulate multiple layers simultaneously, and check this out, guys. I'm looking at the top polygon on the left side in inspiration and the third one down, and I can't help but notice that they're aligned on the left side, and the bottom parallelogram is aligned on the right side. So we're going to do just that. I'm going to shift this over, the third one over to the right, and then the top one over to the right, and then the one on the bottom over to the left. And then this one is sort of straddling the top and the third, and so we're going to have it about right here. Beautiful. I'm going to hold Shift, select the bottom one, so now we can move them all over simultaneously. And this looks not bad. I'm actually going to space them out a little bit further, so it looks a little something like this. This looks great. All right, so now we're going to need to skew them. I'm going to click the top. I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to select the bottom. And when I press Command minus, I'm going to zoom out a tad. And now we're going to click on Edit. We're going to click Transform and Skew. Oh, okay. And so now this looks pretty good. I'm actually going to increase the size by pressing Command T. And so now, yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. I'm going to press check to confirm. So next we're going to need to start embedding images or visuals or photos into these black parallelograms. All right, and so you have lots of options in terms of what you can do. I'm simply going to find some fun action shots from earlier this year. I'm going to hop into Google Classroom, Google Albums, and I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy image, I'm going to return to Photoshop, Command V to paste. And this is a relatively low res image, so you can certainly grab a higher res image and you can think about where exactly do you want to position the images. I'm going to experiment right there for now. I'm going to zoom in just a tad. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hold Command, and I'm going to Command click the rectangular, the parallelogram in this space. I know that we want to do a layer mask. I'm going to eliminate that paperclip and press Command minus. And now we can press Command T. We can increase and decrease and rotate just a little bit, however we're inclined. Oh, this looks fun. So I absolutely know that you guys know how to do that, although we'll do one more real quick. We're going to find another fun action shot. Wow, I love this one, Yvonne. This is amazing. Actually, oh, this is tremendous. We're going to right click, copy image, return to this image, the canvas itself. We're going to press check to confirm. I'm going to hold Command. We're going to apply the layer mask, and then I'm going to zoom in. We're going to click the paperclip, and then we can manipulate and shift it around any way we want. That looks super cool. Although, typically we want to include faces and expressions and emotions in our visual, but this is okay for right now. What I also know when I'm looking at the original inspiration is that it's got this sort of gradient a radial gradient going from light blue to dark blue. So check this out. Here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. I'm going to select the light blue. In fact, I'm even going to lighten it up a tad more. And then we're going to get a dark blue. Let's do this one more time. I'm going to get the light blue. Press check to confirm. I'm going to swap the foreground and the background. And then we're going to grab a dark blue. Let's experiment with this. Okay, this looks great. So now what we're going to do is right-click the paint bucket. We're going to select the gradient tool. And we're going to go to the very top where it says basics. And it's going to be foreground to background. Amazing. And I'm going to zoom out on the canvas. And I'm going to create a new layer on the very top. And when we do this, right, then we click and drag, we're going to have something that looks a little bit like that. That looks awesome. And in fact, when we drag this beneath the black parallelograms, this is what we have. That looks tremendous. Now, I'm going to drag it to the top because when I'm using my eyeballs and I'm sort of scrutinizing the original inspiration, I can see that there's like this little texture in here, right? And so we're going to want to grab some textures as well. And to do that, I'm going to select, let's do scratchy texture. You're going to find one that works for you. I'm going to click images. I'm just going to grab this one real quick. Right click, copy image. Command V to paste. Oh, wrong one. Command V to paste. I'm going to zoom out a tad. I'm going to rotate and increase the size. This looks cool. I'm going to press check to confirm. Command Shift U, Command L. We're going to make sure the lights are light. We're going to make sure the darks are a little bit darker. We're going to press OK. And then we're going to experiment with blending modes, but I know that probably we want multiply. I'm not mad at that. I'm now going to select these two and drag them to the bottom. And yeah, that looks awesome. That looks more or less what the kind of effect they have in the inspiration. I'm really excited to see your work. You're going to produce something that looks a little bit like this. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.